You are going to see things outside of healthcare people will never see in their lifetime. Well, hey guys, welcome to Time with Livy, where we discuss all things nursing, beauty and hair, and anything I kind of feel like talking about, to be frank. Today I wanted to talk about things that I would have done a whole lot differently if I was a new nurse all over again. I've been a nurse for almost 6 years now, which is crazy to say. I'm not 6 years yet, I'm gonna say 5.5. And it's just been such an amazing experience. Starting nursing in 2019, right before the world went into lockdown. But definitely, I've seen a lot, done a lot, and been well-rounded in inpatient, outpatient, and everything in between, management to bedside, to non-bedside, to case management, to clinic nursing, education. I mean, I've done it all, L&D. So definitely want to just come here and just provide my insight on what I would have done differently for sure if I'm just graduating nursing school. All right, so I'm going to start with the first one. This is a traditional tip, but I really feel like nowadays people don't take this traditional tip for real. And I really think y'all really should consider it. It might sound like, oh, I don't want to do it, but trust me when I say this tip. If you are not sure about if you want to be in a particular field of nursing, like ICU, L&D, NICU, or any other specialty out there, please, if you're not confident that you're going to do that for at least 3 to 5 years at minimum, please just do med-surg. Just do med-surg. Hear me out when I say this. If not med-surg, ICU. Honestly, because those two types of units, if you're going to work hospital, which I highly recommend, first of all, like if you're a new nurse, go to the hospital. Seriously. I know you want to have your cutesy nursing job. That's cute and all, but go get some hard skills. Go get some hard, soft skills. You need that basis. I'm sorry. I'm going to be old school on y'all, auntie, grandma. That has to happen. I am so sorry. The reason why I say that is not because you won't find jobs at outpatient places, but because if you want to leave your job, a lot of these other jobs, even outpatient jobs, are looking for bedside experience, inpatient experience. So please just go get that experience before you get tired of it and you're not a spring chicken when it comes to nursing. Just go get it out of the way. I highly recommend med-surg because you get to be exposed to so many things. Even ER, I'm open to ER, but honestly, I think med-surg would be great because you get to see all age populations, or most. You get to you learn about all the medications, the drips, the IVs. You get to learn your IV placement, catheter placement, even those soft skills, talking to families, talking to patients, dealing with cognitive issues. It's just so well-rounded. So if you want to pivot out of med-surg, which I recommend, you have experience, your feet has been tiptoed into most pivots that you want to do in your career. I didn't do that, and I regret it now because now when it's time for me to find jobs, I'm not really even though I've done so many things that I said in the intro, I still am not experiencing a lot of things, and it puts me at a disadvantage when I'm applying to jobs till this day. So highly recommend keeping your world open and doing things like med-surg or even ICU, and definitely just getting your feet in it all, learning all those hard nursing skills and mastering it. Because most jobs, even if you work at a cute little clinic, they're going to ask you if you have IV experience. Even if you work at a wellness center where they're doing IV drips for hydration, they're going to say, are you proficient in IV placement? If you work anywhere, they're going to want to know that you know your medications. Have you been exposed to steroids and antibiotic drips and pain management? They want to know that. So please don't knock it. Do your 2 years and then even 1 year, and just then flee from it if you feel that is best for you, or stay. You might like it. So my second thing is really be honest on what shift you can do. A lot of times most hospitals are going to throw you in that night shift. So if the dream location and the dream experience is night shift, then be mentally prepared for that. put yourself in a place where you can be prepared for that. If you're not a night shift person, if you're not a night owl like me, I'm always an early bird kind of a girl. So when I did night shift my first 2 years as a labor and delivery nurse, it was really hard for me to adjust. But I definitely recommend just being real with yourself. If you can't find the shift that you really want, just consider that, because that can really make or break your experience as a new nurse, really fighting for your life at night, or maybe fighting for your life during a day shift. Day shift comes with its anomalies. Night shift comes with its concerns. You just want to be really prepared for what shift you do, because those 12-hour shifts are a beast. And even if you work an outpatient job and you work your 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, can you deal with that? Do you want to wake up 5 days a week and do it at 9 to 5, 8:30 to 4:30, whatever those hours are? Are you physically, mentally, lifestyle-wise able to do it? Look at what you got going on and see, does it work with what's important to you? Because you don't want to throw away what's important to you outside of work just so you can fit work in sometimes. This course, you got to be an adult. Some things might have to go. But if it's a real priority for you, you have to find jobs that work for you. It's really totally up to you, but I just really don't want you to just be like, all right, it's the hospital I want to work at, jump. Really prepare yourself for that. And another thing that I would recommend, most people don't mention this when I watch videos like this, but you definitely want to meal prep. Seriously, meal prep your lunches or your dinners, whatever shift you work. You really want to meal prep that meal that you're going to eat at work. And this is for all jobs, but honestly, nursing is a big deal, because sometimes, depending on what kind of hospital you work at, hopefully you get your full 30 minutes to an hour breaks. You better. You better. So if you do, you just don't want to waste time in line trying to buy food at the cafeteria or snacking all day, because what I found was that I gained a lot of weight in my first year of nursing, and I'm still working on breaking it down. But that's another story for another day. But definitely I gained my most weight in my first year of nursing. And that's because I was going to the cafeterias and eating, or I wasn't eating. And so then my body is in shock, and it's just, now I'm drained, and just a lot going on. So to ease your mind off of thinking in the middle of your shift and figure out, what am I going to eat today? Oh my gosh, are we door dashing? What are we doing, team? Bring your own food, bring your own water, cook your meals, bring your food and maintain your body, because you are going to go through a lot of stressful situations in this new career. I'm not kidding. You're going to be in very stressful days, and I want you to at least have something that you can always rely on, which is your meals. And another tip that is not really stated, I want you to journal your first year of nursing. So if you can, when you come off from work, or maybe after you get some rest after your shifts, write in your journal, how was your shift last night? What did you see? Obviously, HIPAA, don't be crazy. Don't be like, John Smith. No, you can say, today I did my first IV, or today was, a stress-free day or stressful day. What made it stress-free? What made it stressful? What did you experience that made you feel good? And what did you experience that did not make you feel good? You want to write all those things down, because there's going to be a time in your career when you're ready to pivot, whether it's stay in your specialty, but just climb up the ladder, or maybe you want to leave your specialty, go to outpatient, go back to inpatient, whatever direction you're going, management. You want to be able to look back and see, what did I really enjoy about the job I did and what I didn't enjoy? And then when you're making a list of priorities, you want to make sure your next job prioritizes the things that you don't want to really have happen at a common occurrence in your next role. So for example, if you're journaling all the time that your first job never honored your breaks, now when you go to your next job, in your interview, you can ask questions like, how do you all manage breaks? Is it common for breaks to occur? What does that look like? What's the time slots? Is it something that a strict time that I have to have my breaks, or does it just depend on the type of day it is? So that kind of helps you cater your questions around what to ask during the interview process. If you keep a journal, you remember it, right? Trying to play memory game with your brain, first year is hard. You're not going to remember everything that made it hard. You're just going to have a lot of feelings, and you want to use concrete situations so you can know how to move to the next job and ask the right questions and be prepared so you can have a better experience and and go from there. I just really don't recommend you using your memory to make decisions on your next job. Really look at the concrete evidence of how you are feeling every shift. My next thing as well is to say yes to opportunities when you're in your first job. Please, please, please. I know it's gonna suck. Oh, I gotta get up and, do this hard thing. Or, there's an opportunity to get a certification and they're opening it to first year nurses. Say yes, get the certifications if they're paying for it. Say yes if somebody's like, hey, do you want to see a blank? Go say yes, go see it. Even if you never do it ever again, there might be a time where you get a job and they're going to ask you, have you ever performed a blank? And you're like, actually, I did. And you can utilize that as a one-up on your resume in your next job experience. You'll be so surprised on what thing that you learned in your first job that's made you get the next job. You'll be so surprised. I'm literally like, how? Like for me, I went from labor and delivery to hospice. That was my step up after my second year. After I did 2 years of labor, I was like, I'm over it. I'm going somewhere else. And I did hospice case management. And you know what helped me get that job is because I dealt with mothers who were going through obviously miscarriages in labor and delivery. Because as we all know, labor and delivery is not all, roses and petals. It's also losses too. So me dealing with, grieving family members and mothers and fathers, etc., and obviously assisting with those deliveries helped me get my hospice job. So you would never know what experience you've done that shapes the next job. You just don't know where your life's taking you. Please, please, please just say yes if it's not too out of the way, and just try to make your first year really filled up. And that kind of ties into the next advice. You want to be thankful and give thanks to those very hard days, and particularly those hard cases. So like, let's say one of your patients has a really difficult situation, talking about tons of comorbidities, tons of medications, tons of IVs coming out of every single extremity. They're doing things, they're having procedures done that you have never heard of, never knew existed. You're running here, you're running there, you're running to the OR, you're doing a cold. Like, yes, obviously in the midst of it, it's tough. But when you're done with your shift, you can say, wow, I did a cold today. Wow, I gave blood today. Wow, I started this line. Wow, I did this assessment. I educated my patient on these things and it made sense. Wow, 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 wow. Because once again, you want to fill up that experience chart, because you want to at least say you've done a lot of things once. If you've done it twice, cool for you. Now you can really implement what you learned on the first time and go harder on the second time. And then if you do pivot from that field, or you pivot to something higher in ranking or whatever it is, you can say you've done it. That is my biggest thing. You can say you've seen it. You can say you've done it. And that can really change your pay salary. You seeing or doing one thing can be the reason why your next job offer, you can ask for $5,000 more on that salary, or $5 more per hour, because you've seen something. So please just don't be too upset when you have really difficult cases. Really look at it in a positive perspective and say, okay, this can teach me how to better delegate. That will help you with your future management skills if you choose to go in management. How did you manage your day? Did you pass on responsibility to the techs? Did you work with the team lead? How did you prioritize? So just don't be too hard on yourself when you have those hard days. Just day by day, second by second, and keep that patient alive. All right, so my next tip is more so not really related to nursing, but I definitely would like for you all to have hobbies. Please, please, please have hobbies set up prior to starting your nursing career, because you're going to need something to decompress. Let me tell you all, you are going to see things outside of healthcare people will never see in their lifetime. You're going to see death around the clock. I don't care if you work in med-surg, and I don't care if you work in telemetry. I don't care if you work in NICU, labor, psych. You're going to see death. Death is going to be a common thread within almost parts of nursing, especially inpatient. You're going to see some hard things. You're going to hear some hard things. I'm talking about I've seen things such as trafficking patients who were being trafficked. I've seen so many things. I've heard difficult conversations with family members doing certain things to patients. You're going to see abuse. You're going to hear about abuse. You're going to see a lot of things. Conversations, you're going to see drug use. You're going to see a lot of things. So I just want you all to find hobbies that can ground you when you come home, and so you can really focus in on strengthening your hobby. So whether it's a physical activity, like what are everybody doing right now? Pickleball, or, jewelry making YouTube videos, doing hair. I don't know, any hobby that you want to think about, or you enjoy photography. Definitely try to introduce that into your world, and so you can prioritize that within your self-care kind of thing. I know people recommend, take baths and all that stuff. Sometimes those things even put you in a deeper hole, because now you're sitting there just reflecting and thinking about it all day, how your day went. Have something where you can jump out of your mind and jump into that. Another thing that I see that's really funky in nursing, I don't know if it's like a newer thing, especially my newer nurses, especially those who are doing travel work. By the way, don't do travel too early, please. You're gonna regret it. You definitely want to save your money. Save your money, because let's say, first of all, everybody should save their money. But here's the reason why I particularly say this for newer nurses. Let's say you do a field of nursing and you do a year of it or 2 years of it, and you're like, this sucks. Whether nursing as a whole or just that specialty, you're probably gonna want to, some people just jump out, just decompress because they're burnt out. Like they're just toast. And now they're struggling on how to find their next job. It's taking a while to find another job in a different specialty. Or they're like, I'm over it all together. I wanna go into tech, or I wanna go do this other thing outside of nursing, because that's a real reality for a lot of people, and I don't want you to think you're above it, right? So you want to be able to save money for of course, emergency funds and all the other savings that you should have, but I also want you to save you money for a what if I don't like this, what if I need a pivot, that what if category, because you might need it, you might burn out, so you need to have money to be able to take care of certain things, your expenses. You should always have emergency saving, but I think you should even have more than your regular emergency saving of 3 to 6 months. I think you should have a little bit more than that, because you might need that time to find a new career or find a new specialty. And this will just give you that blanket to like decompress. You might need to use more PTO than what you're offered. You might need to just do unpaid days. And so you can use that money to take some days off and not have to be like, darn, I already used all my PTO. I just need a week to decompress. This job is very compressing, okay? I need you to have a bucket. I really need you to have a bucket. And this is something that I wish I had, because my first labor and delivery job, I quit it without a job. And I took 6 weeks off, and I wasn't financially stable to do that, but I needed it. I literally was toast, burnt to the crisp. And I didn't care what money I had in my pocket, I had to go. And if I would have known to do this and save my money and not just be like, I'm a nurse. I wasn't too much like that, but I did buy a house. I did have to furnish it. I did a lot. So I should have just like had a what if bucket, so I can have taken those 6 weeks off or more with ease. And my last tip, which should be number 1, to be honest, is you really want to have a relationship with God. You really want to have a prayer life, because this job, as I stated, is compressing. It's very difficult. I don't care how much you love it. I don't care how much it fills your cup in terms of fulfillment. It is a hard job. I don't care if you're a clinic nurse. I don't care if you're an ICU nurse. I don't care where you are on the spectrum of nursing. It's a hard job because you're dealing with other people's problems and their vulnerabilities. And I'm telling you now, having a prayer life will keep you centered, will keep you grounded, and will just keep you still and keep you purposeful and knowing how to take your next steps. You really want to prioritize that. Finding a church home, finding a community of like-minded people, and being able to pray with them and just sit with them and just give thanks and to cast your worries onto God and just be thankful. because it's really a job where all jobs for certain, all situations. But I want you to just understand that if you try to do this thing called nursing on your own, you're going to fail. So just day by day, breathe, get grounded, find your relationship with God if you don't already have one. At the end of the day, I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope these 9 tips help you. I couldn't quite get to 10, but these 9 tips should really be helpful to kind of pivot you into your first nursing job, or even if you are already a new nurse, pivot into your next one or stay focused in the one you're in now. But yeah, I definitely would have done a lot of things differently if I was a newer nurse now, but all is well, all is well. I did it so I could teach you all what I didn't do and what I should have done or considered. That's pretty much it. I hope you had a great, great, great day. Stay focused, take care of yourself, drink that water throughout the shift and after the shift. Do the things you teach your patients when it comes to wellness. And I hope you have a great day. Be blessed. Bye, guys.